Good afternoon, everyone. This is Robert Pultz. How have you all been? Starting the new year, and I want to offer everybody a happy new year. And 2026 is here. This is already started. So let's do this and this, and let's get started. Okay, this is my goals for 2026. We're going to talk a little bit about crowdsourcing and how successful that's been, at least in the groups I've been in, and some RootsMagic searches. I did this for the RootsMagic, the Muskogee Genealogy Group, but I'm just a member. No, I don't represent them. Disclaimer, I'm neither a professional nor an expert genealogist, just an amateur like you. I don't delete my errors. I do these vlogs to show you how I do stuff and how I recover from stuff. And I hope that you'll make suggestions. People have, and it's really been nice. I've got a lot of people that have helped me a lot in the last year. Big thank you to all those. I also do the videos because when I do a presentation, people say I go too fast. And so they can slow down the video and they can run it at a slower speed and they can figure out what I'm doing and probably do it differently. I do administer two Facebook sites. If you have any of those surnames, come join us. We'd love to hear from you. How did I get into this? Well, we were having our annual discussion in Muskogee about the 2026 goals. And my answer was this year, as it was last year, that my priority was going to be the family questions. If you've been on here for a while, you know that I asked my family what questions they have about the family each year at Thanksgiving, and then the following Thanksgiving, I give them a report on those questions about the family that I found information on. Some of the stuff we're going to talk today is 2 years old, some maybe even 3 years old. Last year, we had enjoyed crowdsourcing techniques for breaking members' brick walls, and we developed forms for that and so on, and that worked pretty good. We observed that many genealogy societies closed last year, and they were selling off their libraries. We've got one member of one of our groups that buys those up and puts them in her library and then sells off the ones that she doesn't use. And she's been busy. I think she had 61 boxes in her garage just a couple weeks ago. So it's sad. Paper genealogy seems to be on the downturn, and everybody seems to be going to online, even though not everything's online. And then I was thinking about how my genealogy societies, I'm in 7 of them, could bring value to the members, marginal value to the members to justify their membership dues. I mean, people expect to get value out of it, so out of paying money. So, and not just social value. They're expected to. They're trying to find their family. So it occurred to me that crowdsourcing on brick walls was such a big success. Observed how others approached the problem, and what their go-to databases were, and their problem-solving techniques, and it helped me a good deal. So I got just working on other people's problems as a group helped a whole lot. And several of the societies I'm in have SIGs that do a similar thing. And this, along with Zoom access, allows me to be in 7 societies. I mean, I'm in societies from Indiana to Oklahoma to Florida. Can't think of, if you do that triangle, I think everything's inside of it, but there's 7 of them in there. So I suggested that each member, when we were talking about our 2026 goals, write down their goals and details like surnames, locations, and issues being researched. So we could take and carry that around with us. And when we're out researching this year, say in a library or a repository, or I'm planning a research road trip, may take that on with me on that. We could, when we're sitting there going through the resources that are available, we could look at their resources and see if we can help them with something and maybe point them in a direction for a book or something. That seemed to go, that was kind of a surprise to everybody and seemed to go over pretty good. One member asked if I had a farm in mind, and it suddenly struck me that, when we did the brick wall stuff, everybody has different genealogy goals, and everybody has different forms that they use. And if you lock them down to one, you lose information about how they do things. So I told her, I said, do it the way that you're comfortable with it, because that's probably part of the process. This is all new territory for me, so we got to kind of walk through it and see what's going on. One member's already forwarded me a copy of hers. It's mostly based on what she want, the research that she's doing in North Carolina. But I'm in North Carolina. She lives in Oklahoma, and so I can be feet on the ground. And we've got a good public library here, and I've got a good LDS library here, LDS group anyway. And I'm not far from Raleigh. I can go down to the Raleigh archives and I can stay with my daughter down there and research at the Raleigh archives. It's not as convenient as it used to be. She used to live closer into town. I used to be able to get on a bus and go down to the Raleigh archives, spend a day there, and come back on the bus. Now I have to drive down there and find some parking. And Raleigh's downtown. It's not any fun. And then it came the big task. And now I realized I had to write my goals down and actually commit to them. And let me tell you that was kind of like a brick wall that hit me in the face. So I started doing that. And I normally do research logs using Zotero, but that doesn't really kind of fit in with the family questions. Family questions are kind of helter-skelter. Well, I'll show you them in a minute, and we'll talk about them. Please look over what I'm going to take and present here and make suggestions. I'm going to use you as part of the crowdsourcing. Got 318 people here that have been giving me feedback and helping me all year long. So, before I go to the next slide, let's go to family questions. That's just one of the family questions. Let's do this. Well, give me a second here and I'll get us to the place I think we should be. Okay, and family questions right there. Okay, these are the questions. These are the ones that are completed. And so we've done some. So we have this one. We'll talk about this one today. These are going to be my wives. Here's my total story, which is writing my story. We're going to talk about that later on, the latter part of the day. Colin and Caitlin have projects that they're doing for us, for the family. So it's not just me and it's not just Diane. We're all doing stuff. So this is basically the family questions as they stand in 2026. So that's where we're at. And so, okay. The first one that I'm going to cover is occupations, agriculture, and education. Caitlin asked how many how many of the family members were farmers, what did they grow, and what significant environmental and biological challenges did they face? She's a microbiologist, and she's got her first job in the agricultural industry this year, and real proud of her, as you can probably tell. And so this is her interest in her profession now. So she asked that 2 years ago, and I haven't really been able to answer it real well yet. I put these three together because Brian wanted to expand the occupations column. I gave a presentation on this. I'll show. Oh well, here I can do that now. Just a second. This is the presentation that I gave to Caitlin about a year ago. And this was, people, what their occupations were, the land description, the crops, the animals, the trees, the challenges, and notes. And so I did it by family. Uh, so basically, today I'm going to do it differently. I took this and tried to convert it to a spreadsheet. So I went to Google Gemini and I put it in, and it gave me, you can see it, it's about 7 things at a time. So I had to keep inputting it. There's 6 things at a time, I guess. And then I had to keep inputting, deleting what it had converted to a spreadsheet, put that in there, and then concatenate all the spreadsheets together. And I eventually learned it got down to 4 things. I had to take and resubmit it with what was left, and I think I did it again. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I did it a half a dozen times. That's a real pain, actually. You might think that maybe somebody's got some better ideas of how to do that. So that's what I'd given to Caitlin, and then Brian looked at it and says, "Boy, that occupation column looked real interesting to him, and he wanted to know more about occupations." Then Caitlin came back and said, "I'd like to know what schools or colleges they attended." Uh, so that's going to be interesting to take and find. So the details that I'm going to give the organization is the spreadsheet called Occupations, Agriculture, and Education. I'll show you how I developed that in a minute. Skills that I think I need to develop in 2026. I need to understand agricultural censuses better. I totally forgot about them. And this year that they came up in someone's presentation, and I started looking in there, and it's got some of this information in it. It doesn't have, for instance, the pathogens that the farmers have to deal with. And okay, and the pathogens will be in the local archive information sources. They know what went on. Give you an example. We were in Ottawa, Kansas, researching the family there. They've taken an elementary school and converted it into their archive. And we were eventually referred out there by the History Society, and we went out there and I was trying to figure out at that time why my family who had 3 homestead farms out on the very far west part of that county, had suddenly stopped farming. And I had a date, and this archivist was able to actually find the property on a map, and there it was. And it was a kind of a unique situation. This was in Kansas. 2 of my family members had gotten special legislation through the state legislature to be able to homestead as young men. They had special permission to do that, so they had homesteads. So there were 3 homesteads out there. They were progressing along as well as I could tell. One of my family members married the girl across the street, and they were going on and moving on. And suddenly they're out of that business, and they're carpenters. And I was trying to figure out why did that happen. So I asked the archivist. It turns out they were driven out by the grasshoppers. The grasshoppers hit that area at that time. And so that's the kind of thing that Caitlin's looking for. I've also identified some people in Evansville, Indiana, which is where my mother's side of the family's from, that are still in the farming business. And we were big farmers up there, so I'm trying to take and get more history on that. So one of the other ways is to take and contact people in the area that are family members and talk to them about what the family stuff is there. I got a really nice letter back over Christmas that I've got to respond to, and they gave me additional contacts for genealogy contacts up there. So I'm kind of excited about that. Need to do more city directory research to answer Brian's question on occupations. And I don't know how much full text search is going to help here. I do know that one member of my family ended up inheriting an orange grove in Florida, but I think they sold it. I have to go do more research there. And then for school records, outside of Oklahoma school records, I've done nothing on school records anyplace else. There is a rumor that one of my family members attended a university that his grandfather had actually helped found at one point in time. And I think that's where he met his wife before he came out west. This was back in Ohio. But I don't have any firm records for that yet. But where do you get university records and school records and stuff like that in a lot of areas? I got Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's pretty good. I've got the Oklahoma records. I pretty much understand that. So that's the task for this question, which is basically three questions blended into one. So where do you start? Well, like I said, this is the report that I gave her, and I converted that into a spreadsheet. This doesn't have the information on it that I wanted to take and give to the group. So what I did instead is I took that, and here's the HTML I converted, and I used AI to change it, and it's tedious. I will keep that information, but then I decided to use RootsMagic and to take and produce a record. And so this is what I did, and I'm going to move that. Let's move that over here so I can see it on one other screen while I show you what I did. Come on, cooperate here. Oh, I don't need any of this. Okay, let's take that screen over here. Bear with me just a minute. And all right, so we're in my composite database. I have composite and I have research. Remember, I have two databases. The composite is the one where I download stuff from the internet and stuff like that. And research is where I actually do my research, and that's where I upload stuff to the internet. So if you see something with my name on it, it came from research. If you see something, well, you won't see something. Anything else that comes in. And between the two, I manually enter so that my research is clean. It's not, but that's the plan. So the first thing I need to do is search for direct ancestors in the composite database because it has all my fan research. It has my wife's fan tree in it and everything. The research tree only has me, my family, and my direct ancestors in it. So let's go search. Let's see what the saved searches are. And we want ancestors of Rob. Okay. Now, let me show you what's in that. Okay. It's very easy. You choose the starting person and you say who that's going to be. You say how many generations it's going to be. You say whether it's direct ancestors or direct ancestors and descendants of ancestors. And so I did direct ancestors only. And I do that search. Okay. All right. Now, when you get this up here, none of these columns here are in there. You'll see what I use nobility for later on. So how do you get those columns in there? And how do you get these columns in there? You go to customize and you choose them over here. Now, this is all the events, including the custom events that people have made. So in composite, I've got a lot of people that have contributed to that tree. So there's a lot of custom events over here that you're not going to see in other places. And so, excuse me, I'm getting hoarse from that. So you take and you just choose one, you hit the add to the view, and that puts it over here. And you can see what I put over here. I've got degrees and place details, all the stuff about degrees. That somebody has put that in there as events. And so there might be data in those files and graduation place and stuff like that. But the main ones are occupation, education. And I also put title nobility in there for another question. Okay, and then you just hit OK and everything's okay. Okay, so this is what you get. You get this, all this information. The beauty of RootsMagic 11, the reason it's worth the $20 upgrade is that you can now do this. You can come over here and you can take and save this as an Excel spreadsheet. right there. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. Down here, I've always done this, I didn't want to tie your time up to it. I'll get there. Okay, that was agriculture occupation composite. Now, for some reason or other today, this thing decided not to take and download all the things, but that's okay. We can work around that. See, it says it's got some sort of error there. I don't understand that error. Okay, so it comes down. It's kind of compact like this, and I don't know if you're used to Excel tools or not. I'm going to show you a couple of them that I use right off the bat. You go up here and you click on that, and that selects the whole database. Well, before you do that, you want to have one of these blocks, one of these cells highlighted. And then you click on this, and you can come over here, and that adjusts all the columns to the proper width. You can come up here and center everything within the columns. And that's my preferred method of doing it. Then you can take and do this, and you can come over to view and come down to split window, and that splits the window into 4 pieces. So you got the first cell sitting up here, and this makes it a lot easier for taking and doing various things. I don't know how much you folks have experience with this, but these are just a few simple little tricks you can do with Excel, and now you can do all kinds of things with it. And come over here, and there are really good Excel users in some of these groups I'm in. I'm not one of them. Okay, and that selects everything below the title. See the titles right there? And you can come up here and you say data sort, and bear with me a minute. This is my last Excel thing. I choose column A, which is all the people's names up there, and I say okay. Now everything's been sorted in that spreadsheet by surname. These up here don't have surnames. They're female names looking for it. But starting here, you can see that they all have their names. I have their birthplace and their death date, birth date, death date, location. I have it brought over the family search IDs that are in that file. You'll see some of them don't have IDs, and some of them do, even though you don't have surnames for them. And so anyway, and then all these fields are filled in with whatever information was in the database. Okay. So you can search by location. You can do what I just did. Instead of just having surnames, you can do it by location. That's this column here. Although the way this is set up, since it's not in reverse order, you might be able to get it in reverse order if I take and play around with the RootsMagic setup sometime. But right now it's in the standard RootsMagic format. I'm sorry about that. My throat is really clogging up. And so that's what I plan on giving to the group as part of the sheet. Okay. Now let's go back to here. Oh, wait a minute. It's over here now. I think I covered everything. Yep. Sort by surname. That was the last one. So that's what I did for that's how I plan on doing it. So give you an idea. Okay. This is the front page I'm giving them. And then you saw the spreadsheet. This would be the spreadsheet. Where is the spreadsheet? Oops. There we go. And that would be the spreadsheet for that question. So here's all the names. Here's what I've got as far as occupation, education, and stuff. And you'll notice there's a disparity between this and what I did in the first report. That's because I haven't been keeping stuff in RootsMagic. Says obviously I've got to take and update RootsMagic for these occupations and education, and eventually titles for nobility. So let's get back to, where is it? There it is. Okay. Next question. more on family participation in the military. Well, I've already started files on that. I've got the military spreadsheet. I did that the same way. Let's do military. Let's kill this. Let's go back to save searches and military. I got two military facts. This is what I remember doing and doing the search. Wait a minute, that's jumping ahead again. Let's go to military and let's do edit and show you what the setup is. So I went to mark military and you can see, oh, that goes to a group. So now I'm searching on a group. Okay. So let's cancel out of that and cancel out of this and let's go look at that group. And people. And hey, RootsMagic is working today. Military, and there it is. Okay. Okay, so this is the group that's a military. Okay. Now, when you come over here and you go down to military, I got a lot of groups. There we go. Military. And you want to edit it. Okay. I went through and selected people. So I selected 63 people that I put in the military group. So you can use this. It doesn't have a rule. I was trying to see if I had a rule. Okay, what do I need to do? I need skills I need. None are been identified. I've collected a lot of the records I need to take and finalize them. I may need more DAR records or more SAR records and keep my eyes open. And I'm using AI to take and write the summaries for these people. So I can always use improved AI prompt building skills. That's probably my most dominant thing. Everything that I'm writing, I'm summarizing using AI. Okay, next question. Caitlin wanted more on Irish ancestors. Okay. Okay, the Irish spreadsheet. Go to search and save searches and go to any event in Ireland. There we go. And let's show you what that looks like. Okay, first is marked by group. So I looked in there and looked for Ireland and any group that had, what am I doing there? Anyway, I pulled any Ireland thing in there and then pulled them up and do that search. Okay, and so these are the people that showed up in Ireland. Oh, I tell you what I did. I was playing around with it, and I went and got the ones that are on my wife's side, because we got to have my wife's side along with my side to take and do this. That's why I ended up with 2 Irish files. Okay, because I started out with I started out with just my family, associated with my family, but it's both families, and so these are the ones that Diane has. I did the same thing to customize this form. You can see this is the only downside to this new search algorithm is that when you change these, you change it for all of the searches. And so it shows the same data up there. So you got to, if you don't want all this stuff up there for your search for that particular focus that you're on, I'm using this actually as a replacement for customer reports. I prefer spreadsheets anyway. So anyway, that's what happens. And there's all the people in Ireland. There's not going to be very many. I think the total file is only about 10 people. But I got to go learn skills I need to develop. I don't know anything about Irish research. I've never done any. So I plan on focusing on it at Roots Tech for my starter. I need a beginning Irish research course, and I'll get it. Okay, Mira had asked the question about Ann Bates, who was a Revolutionary War spy for the other side, by the way. And are we related, and how? Okay. Skills I'm going to need for that is I'm going to need to develop more local research skills in Philadelphia. She was a school teacher in Philadelphia from 1760 to 1780, sometime in that time frame. And she married a British soldier. And when the British evacuated Philadelphia, she went with the soldiers. And one of the generals recruited her as part of his spy ring to spy on Washington. And she did an outstanding job. We wouldn't even know anything about her except her husband took her to England and abandoned her in England, and she needed a pension or something to take and survive. And so, and that's my granddaughter was reading that, and so she's asked for help. Are they related? Okay, the next question is what happened in Smithfield, Virginia. It was Virginia at the time. It's Middleway today in Jefferson County, West Virginia today. And the reason why that's interesting, that's been a fan project I've been working on for 2 years. And the reason it's interesting is the family split there and went in two directions. And the split seems to be over slavery. It could be over religion. One branch of the family became Methodists, and the other continued on as Lutherans or something else. And so anyway, I'm trying to figure out what happened in Smithfield, Virginia. They were only there about 10. My branch of the family was only there about 10 years. But a lot of things happened there. A lot of things changed. So I've been doing a Smithfield fan project, and it's on YouTube for you to take a look at. I didn't add that to the YouTube list. That's what I wanted to look for. I was looking for another YouTube list. And I need to develop, I need more data. So I'm planning a field trip to there, a road trip there. And sometime we were there about 8 years ago, and we collected quite a bit of information. There's a lot of resources up in that area. So I'm planning on spending a week there this time. I only spent a day there the last time. And I developed all types of contacts and stuff in that area. So I'm going to work on that. So that's one of my goals for next year. Next thing, any royalty in the families. So is there any royalty in the family? Now, what I've been using for this up to this point has been family searches, are we related stuff. But I think I need to take and develop some skills that identify royalty. And I've showed you the spreadsheets 3 times now. Royalty titles are in there. Now, what I did, though, I did something unique on that. So let me go back to that. Let's see, save searches, and there should be royalty in here. There it is. Let's show you what I did there. Well, it's doing the search now. Let's go back to save searches. Let's get royalty. It'd be nice if it was consistent, wouldn't it? Okay. Mark by name and individual attributes. Okay. Okay. What I did here is I contained in the prefix for the name, like if it contains sir in there, I wanted to bring it out. Now, I wanted it to be only my family. There's several ways of doing that. For some reason or other, I chose to do it by color code. So I chose blue is my fraternal main line, and then turquoise, which I also used, as my fraternal grandmother's line. And so anyway, do the search. And so I wanted to know which of the 4 grandparents the royalty was in, just for things. Anyway, I've only got one that's in the title, and he was a Chancellor of Scotland. So I don't know anything about these people. They're so far back. We're talking 1465, 1500s. These are not people that I've been actively researching. These are suggestions in composite from the family search tree, or it could be ancestry trees in the composite too. So anyway, that's how I identify the royalty, and I keep giving that to them. That seems to satisfy them. There's a reason for that, and we won't go into it. Did our family own slaves? This was a real eye-opener. I've been working on this for 2 years. To learn if your family owns slaves, you have to go and take and do slave research, because it's the same records. that the family they use the owner's records for slave research, and so you got to go learn how to do slave research, which was I'm coming along on it. I've got the basics down. So, but I need to develop more research. I need to go look at more wills and more probate records, and expand to 1840 and 1850 slave schedules. I've been through those pretty thoroughly, but they didn't catch the stuff that's in the wills and the probate records. And then North Carolina has a really good resource at the archives, and Virginia. I keep going to Virginia for some of it. I'm not as well versed on Virginia as I am with North Carolina. Probably not as well versed in either one of these because I haven't done anything in there in 3 months, and you lose your skill after a while. So I am developed for that. I have slave owner questions, and here's the spreadsheet for that. I'm just going to show you the spreadsheet because what I did, I think, in RootsMagic. Let's go see. What did I do? Slaveholder. Edit. Okay, I have a slaveholder group, and I just went to that group and did the search on it. So as I identified slaveholders, I put them into a group, and so that's how I did that. Okay, I keep forgetting how I do some of this stuff. Okay, we went through all that. Okay, where is the family from in Germany? Okay. Okay, well, that's simple enough. Let's do this. Let's go to Save Searches, and let's see, Germany. Ireland, New York, military, occupation, reality, slaveholder. I think I did this. Smithfield Group. Yeah, cancel. I'm going to have to take and open another file. I'm going to have to open the research file. You guys don't see the research file very often. Yeah. And now let's go to search. Yeah. This way, Ireland, royalty, direct ancestors, any fact containing Germany. There we go. Let's edit that so you can take and see it. Okay, that's a group too. Okay. So we'll go back, cancel, people. We'll go up here to people, and we will select grandparents, German births, baptism, residence, there. And so this is the group. But by putting it into the search and doing the search like I did, you get more columns up here and you can print it. You can't print this out. So if you haven't figured it out, a good way of printing out a group is to go to search, save searches, let's go with this German thing here, edit it, and you can choose a group. See, it says group right there. And you can choose any of these groups and print them out here. And you say, okay, and then it says go do the search. And there's the people that are in that group, okay? And then you can customize it to get all the stuff that you want on it. And then you can take and go print. See how versatile this is? And then then you end up with something that looks like Germany. And in this case, I've just got reference numbers and stuff like that. But I've got a printout from a group. And I can sort this by surname here. I could sort it by location. So I've got quite a bit of data there that I can carry around. This is prints out. This is Excel. You can print this out. Most people know how to use Excel today. Okay. So that's an important part of it. Okay. Projects that I don't think crowdsourcing can help with. Okay. Realized this after I was sitting down doing this. Since I left the group, I've thought about this a little bit more. Many years ago, I became upset with how poorly I was writing sources and citations. So I went through in my research file and I deleted all the sources in there and started from scratch. Well, part of the problem was that they were almost all custom sources, and none of them were the standard sources that RootsMagic had. And I had not written any sentences. So when the reports came out, they had blank, 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 blank all over them. So my goal was to take and get rid of all sources that I was not that didn't have sentences with them, and then start going through there and having that do it. Now, I took on an action on in the RootsMagic SIG to take and document some of this, and I will be doing a video on that real soon. It's due next week, so I got to get busy. So that's available. That will be available at some point in time. You'll see how I've done it. But I'm still not happy. I'm still disgusted with it. And but so if you got any ideas, look at my video on that video, and let me know what you think. Next thing was Brian's wants a total story. Now the way I'm doing the total story is I've broken my life down into blocks, basically based on geography, sometimes based on jobs, but mostly based on geography. And I think all but one of them is based on geography, and one of them is two jobs in the same place. And so I collect everything about that time and frame and put it in a folder. Then I take and put it into a document where I write little pieces about each picture, each award, each document that I've got in there. And then I use AI to summarize it, and so that I did do there. I need to do AI better. Steve Little is completing a 52 ancestors in 31 days. I need to apply that to these files, not just to take and validate what I've got in them, to make sure that when I do put the sources in there, that is right. Now, I haven't lost the sources. The actual documents exist in the folders for each one of these people. What I did was, and I didn't delete the events. I just deleted the way the sources were written and the citations were written. So because they were all over the place. In some cases, I'd actually taken the ones that came down from Ancestry and from Family Search, and neither one of those follow the same conventions. So I've settled on RootsMagic's templates, and I've settled on 11 of those. So I've talked about that before, and I'm going to do a presentation on it soon. Okay, I have one solid request and two somewhat interested requests in doing their family research on their own. And so I've got to put together some way of responding to that. I've done it ad hoc up to this point, and I think this next year I need to be more formal in my presentations there. I also need to develop more knowledge about some of the networking programs that Family Search and Ancestry have. And one of these individuals is Jewish and wants to do Jewish research. I have no skill in Jewish research, so this ought to be interesting. I've fed him a couple articles. I will be busy. Okay. Zoe has for a long time had a request for a timeline with key historical events. And I have tried spreadsheets. I have tried MyHeritage, and I'm not happy with them. I think what I had some luck last year. I used AI to address small segments of family stories that I was doing, and then provide a timeline at the end of that with historical events in it. You can do that in RootsMagic's prompt builder for AI. And I used that extensively for, several people last year. I think that may be the solution, but I need to take and pursue that better. And if that doesn't work, I need to get better AI prompting. And if you got any examples of, if you had this request from a family member or you had a special interest in it, how did you do timelines with historical events in it? How did you present them? I mean, I can do them in 1,000 different ways, but it needs to be simple and communicatable to a 20-year-old, and that's a challenge. Okay, I've got to help my wife with her family questions. One of the things that's happened is one of the family members has scanned a number of 35 millimeter slides. They're not mine; they're my father-in-law's. But we need to take and annotate those slides. We know who those people are, and nobody else does. So we've got to get busy annotating those. In addition, I had some 16 millimeter videos that also are my father-in-law's of my wife. And we need to annotate where those have taken place and so on. We have them outlined, but we need to get more detail, who's in them and stuff like that. Then last year, I started the heirloom identification program, where the heirlooms that we need to identify for future generations. If you go to the YouTube video on the German box, you'll see what I'm talking about. We need to take and write down our stories about our heirlooms. Even Christmas ornaments. It came up the other day. I need to add. Which one did I? Oh, Smithfield. I need to add to this. Okay. So here's some associated videos to take and help you. Here's my contact information. Now, if you think I'm doing anything worthwhile, please give me a thumbs up. That means a lot to me. I also respond to comments. It may take me a while. Do a lot of other things other than this, and it gets me a while to get back, but I really appreciate comments. They've really helped me. If you have additional topics you think I should address, something that you see me doing in here, and I don't have a YouTube video on it, or I've got a dated YouTube video on it that needs to be updated, just let me know. And thank you for your time. I appreciate you sticking this out with me. Okay. Yep. I would like to thank each and every one of my 318 followers from this year. Your interest has exceeded my original goals. My goal was 20. 318. I think I did pretty good. I'm surprised. Didn't think you'd be interested in this old country boy. Anyway, I hope you have a great new year. I hope you set your goals, and I wish you the best of luck. Now, I got to remember how to do all this. Let's see. Okay.